Respected physical education teacher and my dear students, myself Praveen Mishra, PGT physical education teacher. Today's session of topic is Unit-10, training in sports. Now overview of my session is types and methods to develop flexibilities, types and methods to develop coordinative abilities, and last circuit trainings. Now first is flexibility. What do you understand about that flexibility? Flexibility क्या है? Flexibility is a range of motion around the joints, bones, ligaments. Now what are the importance of flexibilities are there? Flexibilities is the interrelationship between the factors that improve their different performance, and the importance of flexibilities is briefly discussed in a below. The greater range of motion ensure the more force and speed developed by the muscles. It reduces the stiffness in joints. It reduces the risk of injuries as muscles are more peebles means flexible. It helps to maintaining the appropriate postures while performing. The types of flexibilities. There are two types of flexibilities are there, active and passive. Under the active, there are two types are there, static and dynamics. Under the dynamics, there are two types, that is general and specific. We'll discuss one by one. Now passive flexibilities, what do you mean by the passive flexibilities? क्या है? Passive flexibilities, the abilities to do the movements with greater amplitudes with use some external help, and that is called as passive flexibilities. That example are stretching with the help of partners. Now next is active flexibility, the ability to perform a movements with greater amplitudes without any external help, that is called as active flexibilities. Example, you are performing the stretching exercises by the sports person himself. Now types of flexibilities, that is static and dynamic flexibilities. Static flexibilities, it is required the movements done while the individual in a static positions, just like a standing, sitting and laying positions. Dynamic positions, it is required for exhausting any type of movements when the individuals on movements or moving positions. Now methods to improving their flexibilities, and that is slow stretch, the slow stretch and hold, that is static and dynamic, plastic methods, and last is PNF, that is proprioceptive neuromuscular facilitations. Now first is slow stretching methods. The first and the foremost way to improve their flexibility is slow stretch and stretching the muscles around their joints. The critical point to be noted here, the stretching should be done in slowly without doing any type of jerking type of movements. Now slow stretch and hold. The slow stretch and hold about the 6 to 8 seconds in a maximum stretching points. The stretching can be done either the static or sometime in a dynamic position. There are the two types are there, static and dynamic. Now static stretching is slowly accessing into the extension and holding their positions. The stretching should be held by about the 10 seconds if we are doing that cooling down type of exercise. If it is improved their flexibility, the hold recommended up to the 30 seconds can be developed. Next is dynamic stretching. It requires the controlled movements, usually of legs and hands, and where the events required by the dynamic movements means the movement should be on the motion, and it is suitable in dynamic stretching exercises. Now next is plastic methods. The plastic methods movements are that movements where the swinging and rhythmic form of activities are required. As a stretching is done rhythmically, it is called as plastic method. कोई भी एक्टिविटीज हम स्विंगिंग और रिदमिक वे में करते हैं, that is form of plastic methods. Now the plastic methods, once experienced popular are there, where the many physical therapist type of activities which can be done in the plastic methods. This form of stretching exercises use the bodily momentum to extend the range of motions. However, we can do that by the help of experts, believing that plastic stretchings can be lead to the injuries. Now PNF, proprioceptive neuromuscular facilitation, that is called as PNF techniques. It is also known as post isometric stretching type of exercise. It is based on the principles of proprioceptive neuromuscular facilitation. The principle state that If the muscles are contracted maximally for the few seconds, the muscles gain in the maximum relaxation after that contractions. In these methods, they are first contracted for the 5 to 7 seconds and then generally stretching to the at most limit and held up to 8 to 10 seconds. The process is required by the 4 to 8 times for each muscles groups. Next part is coordinative abilities. क्या है coordinative abilities? Now, coordinative abilities are the primarily dependent on the CNS, central nervous systems, by the motor control and the regulation process. Now, the coordinative abilities are understood as a relatively stabilized and generalized patterns of motor control and regulation process. These are the enable sportsmen to do a group of movements with the better qualities and the better effects of their movements. There are total 7 types of coordinative abilities are there: orientation method, differentiation methods, coupling abilities, rhythmic abilities, reaction abilities, adaptation abilities, and balance abilities. We'll discuss one by one. Again, I am repeating. There are 7 types of coordinative abilities are there: orientation abilities, differentiation abilities, coupling abilities, rhythmic abilities, reaction abilities, adaptation abilities, and last, balance abilities. Now, orientation abilities, it is ability to determine and the change of position and the movements of the body in the required times and available space in a definite fields of actions. Now, differentiation ability, it is ability to attain a high fine tuning of the movement phases. It is ability to achieve a high level of accuracy. Next is coupling abilities. It is ability to coordinate body parts movements with one another about the definite goals, orientation by the movements. Next is rhythmic abilities. Is the ability to precise the different type of rhythmic movements and do the exercises with the required rhythmic patterns. Now, reaction abilities is the ability to react quickly and effectively to a different type of stimulus. Next is adaptation ability, is the ability to adjust or completely change the movements program based on the changes and anticipated changes are there. Now, last is balance ability. Balance abilities is the ability to maintain the equilibriums or balance throughout the movements and the regular and regain the balance quickly after distributing the balance movements. It is classified into 2 types: ability to maintain the balance during the stationary position or static position or the slow movements. Now, ability to maintain or regain the balance during the rapidly change of position, that is called as different type of motion type of movements are there. Now, last part of my session is circuit trainings. The circuit trainings is developed by R.E. Morgan and G.T. Adamson in 1943 at the University of Leeds. The circuit training is a form of body conditioning or endurance trainings or resistance training using the high intensity. Now, circuit training can be done with the equipments, without the equipments, or in a form of circular form. Circle form में हमें करना है. It is a combination of both. One of the example which I am showing to you, and that is the jumping jacks, half squats, bend knee sit-ups, planks, push-ups, alternate toe touch, arm curls, walking on lunges, chin-ups, and box jumps. And it determines on this certain parameter, that is intensity, means rate of doing work, number of repetition, and rest between the sets. If you are doing that minimum intensity, it is moderate type of intensity, that is 50 to 70%. Repetition is 3 to 5, and rest period is 30 to 45 seconds in between the station. Always keep in mind these 3 parameters while you are doing that circuit trainings. Now, what are the advantage and disadvantage of the circuit trainings? Now, first we'll discuss advantage. It burns the calorie rapidly, means fastest करता है. It reduce the risk of injuries. It is a time efficiently, means हम time को properly utilize कर सकते हैं. Increase the lean mass muscles and help to improve the tone of the body. It does not need a lot of equipments. It can be done both indoor as well as outdoor. Now, what are the disadvantages? Needs a lot of space and planning to takes the time and efforts. It may not be suitable for increase the muscle strength and muscle powers. And last, initially very tiring and especially for the beginners. Now, references which I have taken purely curriculum 24-25 and references book which are easily available in the CBSE site. Thank you for watching me.